You're watching the first News Hour debate on Times Now Super Prime Time.
Now, what is terrible is that in this case, Tarun Tejpal seems to have lost all sense of reason. He seems to have lost his own sense of argument. He has wound himself up in a sorry defense that really today it's laughable that Tarun Tejpal says that I am being targeted because I am a secularist. To hide behind the disguise of secularism. This is open debate on Newshour tonight. So just to say hello to everyone and good evening. Namita Devidayal, well-known author, Pinky Anand of the BJP, Amee Yagnik of the Congress, Kiran Bedi. Rahul Singh is back with us tonight. I think he's slowly changing he's reconsidering the position he's been taking on this over the last few days. Rajesh Kalra, Chief Editor of Times Internet, Shivam Vij. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. I just first want to go across to Kiran Bedi. Miss Bedi, you know, we've seen this ridiculous argument that he now puts that I am being targeted because I'm a secularist. I want your take on that, and also the arguments that he's put in the course of his petition before the High Court today trying to get anticipatory bail.
Arnab, in his affidavit, he said in para 1, which is fine, I'm finding it very interesting. He said throughout his career, the applicant has striven for transparency and accountability in public life. And has been an active campaigner against. He talks about public life. He doesn't talk about his personal life or a professional life. I think he's not talked about. What he's done is on the borderline of public and professional and personal. He says only public life. I would like him to say that I've striven for transparency and accountability in personal life as well. Because this is the crime he's committed in his personal life, which borders on professional life as well. Because he's done it as an employer and he's done it as a person.
Oh yes,
I think this is what I would like to say. This is in his para 1.
Just we'll go para by para. We'll go across all the paras. And by the way, to all the other panelists today, I'm going in for the open debate format, which means that you are ready to, you know, whenever you want to step into the debate, it's perfectly fine with me. I am asking tonight, actually, if you complete the sentence which Tarun Tejpal puts, and it's so hypocritical. In fact, I think it is cowardly for Tarun Tejpal to hide behind the secular argument. He says, I have been an active campaigner against any attempts to tarnish the secular fabric of the country. I mean, you try to rape a woman, and then you say, I have been fighting against attempts to tarnish the secular fabric of the country. Shivam Vij, what does Tarun Tej, why does he have to brandish his secular credentials in a case of alleged rape? I mean, I don't understand it, do you?
You know, I think he's giving it away how much of a Congressy he is, because this is typical Congress tactic. The moment you do something against them, they brand you RSS or BJP. That's what he's trying to say here. But fact of the matter is that the Tehelka as an organization was trying to make amends with BJP as well. So when it suits them, they become this. When it suits them, they become that. They're trying to deflect attention to their politics and to their work. You know, it was not as the BJP asked them to commit rape. They have done it by themselves and they must face the consequences of it. The argument that the case must be shifted out of Goa to a Congress-ruled state, I mean, similarly it could be argued, will the girl get justice in a Congress-ruled state, considering Kapil Sibal is a minority shareholder in Tehelka? So I think this argument is totally bogus, and it's very sad. It's cheapening and disgusting for both Indian secularism and for women's rights.
But I'm surprised at the Congress party's silence, if you ask me. I'm surprised and shocked at the Congress party's silence. I mean, not a few days back.
Well, I'm not that surprised. I'm not that surprised.
Well, I don't know. A lot of other people will be surprised. I thought that 5 leaders of the Congress party, like in the case of Snoopgate at 12 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon, would have a huge press conference, Amee Yagnik. You should have had a huge press conference talking about the manner in which this case has happened. Now, it appears that you have some strong sympathies out there for Tarun Tejpal, because otherwise everyone wants to know why you are being so parsimonious, so miserly, if I may say so, on your response on this subject. A woman is being maligned by Tarun Tejpal, who has been one of the strongest advocates of Congress party politics in the last few years. He says, I am a victim because I am fighting secularism. And apart from one or two soundbites here and there, the Congress party as a collective is largely silent. Now that's hypocritical, isn't it? Amee Yagnik. Two standards for Snoopgate and for Tarun Tejpal.
There is nothing hypocritical here.
Of course there is.
An offence is an offence. Mr. Tejpal can write whatever in his he wants in his petition, and he may hide behind whatever words he wants to use, like secularism. But when there is an offence committed, he has to be under the law, and he has to write what.
No, why didn't 5 Congress leaders have a press conference on the subject? Where are the women leaders of the Congress party on the subject?
No,
why do Girija Vyas, Renuka Chaudhary, Jayanti Natarajan, Miss Oza, and all the other top leaders of the Congress party not have a collective press conference on it? Is something embarrassing you about what has happened in this case?
No, there is no question of embarrassment. I am saying that when there is an offence, it has to be dealt with in the way it has to be dealt with. And whatever.
Why are you hiding behind the? What do you mean it has to be dealt with in the way it has to be dealt with? That's not how you spoke in the case of Snoopgate. Double standards there, Amee Yagnik. Double standards, I'd say, on the Newshour tonight. In his letter, he says, okay, let's get Pinky Anand in because she's listening to this particular part. I don't know. My sense is out here, as far as the Congress party is concerned, is hiding behind, one or two sound bites of its spokespersons. Collectively, you've not come out. Why haven't you? Is a question. Pinky Anand, your response.
Arnab, you're absolutely right. I mean, whenever any issue is coming up, Congress cries hoarse, and particularly in the last few days, we've seen it happening in particular in the case of alleged snooping by Modi ji, and they've been crying hoarse on the issue of privacy of women and all these issues. But when you come to this issue, there is not much of a statement from them, excepting one or two statements, and thereafter everything is on a quietus, as if it is a question of politics. I'm afraid I don't understand how everything can be politicalized by the Congress, and you are hiding behind, in fact, at this point of time, Tarun Tejpal's statements, who is trying to allege otherwise. So I think it's a very pathetic statement of Congress, who is not standing by any standards of morality, by any standard of ethics, by any standards of women's dignity.
It's almost as if
You're right.
It's almost as if, I can understand this, Amee Yagnik, people talk about scams, you hide behind secularism. People talk about corruption, you say, yeah, there may be corruption, but secularism is the bigger challenge. 1 minute. Secularism is the bigger challenge. So there may be corruption. Now, some people who are alleged rapists are saying there may be rape, but let's talk about secularism. I mean, I don't know. Tomorrow there will be a murderer out there on the streets who will commit a murder and then come and say, but I have always been fighting for secularism. And still the Congress party will have to be pulled and cajoled out of its slumber on the subject. Still, the Congress party will not hold a collective press conference in which its leaders will take a position on the subject. I wonder why, Amee Yagnik, and it's not just me who's asking you that question tonight. By the way, I'd like to get in.
Arnab, now.
Well, I mean, I've just said it.
Let me answer. Arnab, please let me answer this.
You have no answer to that.
It's not a question of coming out collectively and holding a press conference.
Why not?
When there is already a suo moto FIR. It is between two individuals, and a woman's
suo moto FIR
violated, she is victimized, and there is
Amee Yagnik, don't you think there needed to be
dodgy argument? You're getting a response.
By the Congress condemning this action by Tarun Tejpal.
The Snoopgate.
Or are you just going to wait for others to take action?
Here the police has participated with the Home Minister, and there is nothing happening.
Amee Yagnik, let's not talk about anything excepting the fact. Please explain, why did you not come forward at the time this incident was reported? Why were you waiting for the state to take action? Why were you waiting for the police to take action? Why did the Congress party not come out in the open? The question, Amee Yagnik, is not anything else. The question is today, why did the Congress not come out in support of this young lady who makes these allegations of rape, who is crying hoarse, who is talking about being victimized, who's been harassed, who's been raped, and there is no statement from the Congress party, whether you call it by way of press conference or otherwise, to say this is condemnable, action should be taken. We support, forget that, forget anything else. Why did the Congress not come forward and say we support this young girl who's faced this trauma at the hands of Tarun Tejpal?
And the ridiculous nature of the arguments should force a suo moto response. Namita Devidayal, I'm coming to you next. 1 minute.
Why should we embarrass the girl? She is being given
protection. Please don't shoot over the girl's shoulder. She's brave enough in this case, Amee Yagnik. She's brave enough in this.
When Nirbhaya's case happened, were you talking about the girl?
You know, the question is the hypocrisy that this is all showing up. Hypocrisy. A certain section there of Lutyens Delhi is very embarrassed about what's happening.
But Arnab, let's get a little real here.
Yes, Namita, why do you think this is unreal? This is exactly what's going on. Tarun Tejpal is hiding behind a political argument.
I'll tell you why. Because let's face it, politicians lie. So why would we even care what the Congress party or any other party says about this issue? This issue is not about politics, really. It's about
really? Didn't Tarun Tejpal make it political?
Misogyny of
didn't Tarun Tejpal make it political?
Well, he's trying his best to do what he can. He's a man in the line of fire, so he's going to say what he has to.
What do you mean, man in the line of fire? You almost seem to have sympathies for him.
Oh my gosh, I have no sympathies for anyone here. I hope that the due process of law takes its course and does what is right in the interest of individuals, women, rights. But the point is that he's going to say and ramble on and do whatever he has to. But why would we want this to turn into a political circus? That's just appalling. It would turn into a complete it would cascade into something that is so
we
far
are not turning it into a political circus.
Shivam is responding.
Shivam. Political circus, and the least we can do
go on.
Is to condemn him for it.
Of course, I agree.
Arnab.
I completely agree. And by the way, Namita, with respect to you, had this matter not been picked up in the media, then there would have been no follow-up action on this. I think it's mighty brave of that young girl to be putting a point of view out, and I think the media is doing the right thing.
There are so many matters that are not picked up in the media.
Pardon me?
Of course, the media is. It's also on a bit of a witch hunt. But what about the so many other...
You mean to say that when a top editor rapes, we should ignore it, the media should ignore it? Only when laborers rape, media should pick it up, like December 16, but a top editor does it, the media should ignore it. Is that what you're arguing?
Answer him, it's a valid point.
Can I have a word?
No, one second. Let Namita answer them. Namita, I've not understood your line of argument. What is really your central point in this?
My line of argument is that if this issue, which is a kind of a turning point for women and for so many other really important issues about the way men and women treat each other in this country, if it turns into some kind of political drama, it will get so terribly undermined, and I hope that doesn't happen.
No, see, listen, Namita, let's not get too preachy about this. No, one second. Namita,
eve of elections.
No, Namita, two facts here. Hartosh, actually, I'm coming to you, but I just want to say with respect to you, Namita, there is, and I repeat this, there is a section of Lutyens Delhi which has been thoroughly embarrassed. There are certain people who move around in a certain cocktail circuit, if you don't mind my expression out there, who are deeply embarrassed about it, who don't want to talk about it. That section today does not want to talk about Tarun Tejpal in detail. When that section realizes that there is this young girl who has taken on this man, and there is this man called Tarun Tejpal who said in his earlier letter that I tried to do a sexual liaison with you, and then says now that I was having a meeting with you. Right, when that man today is maligning that woman, saying the woman carried on partying, and therefore because she was partying, she could not have been raped. When that man goes ahead and says that I am being targeted because I have certain political views, then I'm sorry, Namita, even if it embarrasses a certain section of the cocktail circuit and the Lutyens Delhi circuit, which extends into the the so-called narrow section of influence makers, I say tonight, embarrass that whole lot, Namita, and discuss it threadbare, so that the hypocrisy of Lutyens Delhi is exposed in this case. You know what I'm talking about, Namita, and I think we should discuss it threadbare.
Hartosh wanted to come in. And filled with liars. So that's not the point here.
Well,
this is not about the liars of Delhi. That's like an almost...
I am talking about the lies of Tarun Tejpal. I'm talking about the lies of Tarun Tejpal. Why should I not discuss it? Why shouldn't I, Hartosh?
Sure.
Hartosh,
Can I have a word, please?
Hartosh wanted to come in.